In terms of our next speaker is Andrew Cunningham, who is the CEO of Walkabout Resources. Andrew is a geologist with extensive cross-discipline technical and management experience in the minerals industry, having predominantly worked across sub-Saharan Africa and Australia. He's also worked with a range of commodities and geological styles, including uranium, iron ore, graphite, diamonds, gold, and base metals. Over the past 15 years, Andrew's managed all facets of exploration and development projects in Africa, from project generation to the completion of feasibility studies and beyond. He's held various senior geology and exploration positions with major international mining companies, including BHP, Rio Tinto, and De Beers. In addition to this, he's worked for numerous ASX, TSX, and AIM-listed companies. Andrew's been with Walkabout since 2013, and he brings a wide range of experience. And I think we're really interested to hear how Walkabout and the Lindy Jumbo project is going as it moves through the construction phases. So, welcome, Andrew.
Thanks, Anna, and Honourable Ambassador, Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen, and importantly also shareholders that I see here. When I look at the audience, it looks like in Tanzania we've got the Tanzanian Explorers Club once a month, and I see many of those faces here. I'm just glad you guys don't have a beer in your hand today. But in any case, it's really my privilege, or it's an honour to be here today. This is the Pay Dirt's, or Africa Down Under's 21st year, and I was thinking yesterday, in those 21 years, how many of these stories, or let's call them fairy tales that people have been telling, have become the truth, meaning how many of them have come into development. I try to count, and I think you can probably count them on one hand. It just shows you how difficult it is to get a mine or an exploration project into development, get it funded, and it's my privilege to say that that's where we are today. It's probably about 21 years ago where I was involved with another development of a mine in Tanzania with Ambassador Ami Mpungwe, who's sitting in front here. And here we are 21 years later, and I'm doing exactly the same thing. So Lindy Jumbo is, as I say, it is a cut above the rest. John has fortunately said a lot about the graphite market, so I'm not going to bore you too much of that. And I'd just like to take you where we are with the project and what makes this very different. Disclaimer that this will be on our website, and you can go through that. So why is Lindy Jumbo different? It's about 6 or 7 years ago, in 2015 actually, I sat over a cup of tea with Alan Mulligan, and his brief was, where do we find graphite in Tanzania and where should we go? So I quickly worked that one out, and it became all more complex from them. And he said, it's got to be high grade and it's got to have large flake. And I said, well, that's very easy, Alan, and off we went to look. So we fortunately found the Lindy Jumbo project, and I'll take you a bit through that, and it ticked most of those boxes, but there was a lot of luck involved. But it is a team sport. We earlier someone referred to being mining is a team sport. It's not only one person's contribution to this, it's the entire Walkabout team and Lindy Jumbo that did this. We are fully funded. We recently announced a debt funding out of the UK. It's not a big ticket, it's 20 to 25 million, but as my learned friends from Bowman's told me just this week, it's the first foreign debt into Tanzanian mining industry in the past 20 years. So that's how difficult it is. It's also the first major mine development in Tanzania over the past 10 to 15 years, I think. So it is really a game changer for Tanzania. I strongly hope and believe that it will help our peers, and it will help more foreign debt coming into Tanzania. And this, we're hoping that it will open the floodgates. There's certainly a strong interest in exploration and mining in Tanzania at the moment. So let's see where that goes. The second differentiating factor of this is the resource. It's a very unique resource with very unique characteristics. I'll speak about that later. And also the concentrate is a very unique, very high quality concentrate. The economics are compelling. It's high margin. We never went for the biggest deposit in the world. That was never the intention. It was always margins that we were chasing. And we are not resource constrained. There's a lot of growth opportunities within Walkabout and Lindy Jumbo. And as I'll take you through, is that we are probably 4 months away from commissioning this mine. But I need to showcase Tanzania a bit. It is the tier 1 graphite destination in the world. You'll hear from other graphite companies here today. Tanzanian graphite is just different. It's better than anything out there, and I'm not trying to make this up. These are facts. All of our projects are high quality. Irrespective of who is talking about Tanzanian graphite, it is very different to anywhere else in the world. There's a lot of it from the north near Kilimanjaro, all the way down south to where we are in the Lindi region. Tanzanian infrastructure, John pointed that out again. It's pretty good, and that's what we did when we looked at these projects. It has to be close to good infrastructure. And we're not seasonal constrained like they are in China, in many places in China, where they cannot work over the winter season. We can operate throughout the year. The funding journey, the Commissioner said about some administrative funding issues. I'd rather call it a funding nightmare. It's been a hard slog to get where we are. It is an extremely difficult road, and there are various factors of it. There's the perception out there on the country of regional turmoil and so forth. Our view is it's a stable jurisdiction. I've been operating in and out of Tanzania for more than 20 years, and it's homogenous. It's a very friendly society. Like the Commissioner said, you make people happy, and it is a happy society. We've really, from the start, the onset, our strategy was to keep it small, which means there's lower capex. Keep the high grade helps us with the OPEX. And that's what we did, and that's helped us in this whole funding process. The commodity, it's seen as an opaque commodity. People don't understand the pricing. The funders don't understand that. And how do you mitigate that? It's not only one product that we're going to deliver, as John was pointing out there as well. The fines is a small portion of our story, the fine flake graphite that might go into the batteries or wherever it goes. But we are focusing on the larger flakes, and I'll speak about that as well. And also the inflation, which everybody has to deal with. We were fortunate that we had fixed price contracts. We just announced today that the increase in capex, even with about a 2-year delay while we were going through the funding issues, has only resulted in a 4% increase in our final capex. So that was fortunate for us that we went down that route. Energy, John spoke again about the hydro energy in Tanzania. There's been a tremendous amount of infrastructure development in the south of the country. There's now a $30 to $40 billion investment coming into the oil and gas industry in the Lindi Mtwara region. And during COVID, when I got back there after I could travel again, there were power lines all over. So we're fortunate to have power right to the mine, enough power to run the entire mine. And at 8 cents per kilowatt hour, that is pretty cheap in comparison to what it was going to be with diesel-fired generators. Infrastructure, very good. As I said, when we did our project development or our project targeting, infrastructure was an important point, is when you look at where you want to develop a graphite project. And ESG, Africa is often seen as not doing the right thing, but we all know what to do. We all know that this is not something we're trying to fix. This is a project, a new project, and you know what to do the right thing. And we see the social part of ESG as the most important. People want to be happy. They want to have jobs. They want to have sustainable jobs, and that's where we are fortunately are. I spoke briefly about the geology, but what makes this very different? It's a very high-grade resource. It has a very high-grade core running up to 25% total graphitic carbon through it, which is enveloped by something running between 6 and 10%. So your dilution comes from something that is often double the reserve grade of our peers. It's very large, a lot of large flakes in situ in the ground, up to 80% above 300 microns, and that's got us thinking, and we designed the plant accordingly. It's from surface, and I'll show you photos about that, and the rocks liberate, or the graphite liberates very easily. And about 75% of our product in concentrate is above 180 microns or 80 mesh. This is a unique deposit. Attractive proposition. It's got the highest reserve grade of any undeveloped project in Africa, about 18% TGC over 24 years life of mine, and that's a very conservative estimate of the life of this mine. It's got a low capital cost. Our total capex for this project is 34 million, and that includes the increases because of the delays, as we've announced, and it has the forecast's lowest operating cost. It's important for us to be able to compete with a Chinese graphite mine. That's what we're aiming for. Long life asset, 24 years, as I said, and a lot of growth opportunities. So we are definitely Tanzania's next graphite producer. The processing plant, the essential civils, is more than 97% complete. Our current focus is putting the building up at the concentrator building, and I'll show you photos of that. And it's getting the drying and screening building erected. All the equipment is either on site or some of them getting seasick at the moment from Australia and also from China. The tailing storage facility is more than 90% complete. All the earthworks has been done, and we've done all the pre-stripping at the mine. The waste rock that we use to build the tailings dam has come from our first 3 years of mine plan. But it's more than this battery story. It's not, as I said, 25% of our product is fines, which might go into the battery industry. It's been tested by various battery companies or battery end users, but our focus remains on the larger flake. It is a mine that can service the entire spectrum of the graphite industry. It's, as I said, Tanzanian graphite is good. It does it for all the graphite sectors. Currently we've got about 700 or 800 kilograms of graphite concentrate that's been going to end users in all over the world, and the feedback is phenomenal. We've had comments of, this is the best they've seen. And I'm pretty sure most of these other graphite projects in Tanzania will be able to deliver this. Also, our offtake agreement with Wogan, who's an international company, is that we get paid upon loading of the ship. So we've got access to a $3.2 million working capital facility through that, and that can go as high as $8 million. So this is where we're mining. This is the first 3 years of mining operation. All the pre-strip has been done. You can see there where we've mined that pit for the waste rock, for the tailings dam, and that will help us in years 2 and 3, where we don't have to strip that waste anymore. I've just indicated there where the main ore body lies. There's Trench 3, which has been in many presentations of ours. We just left it intact there to show people. But you can see there the grades we're talking about, 80 meters at 26%, which includes 9.3 meters at 33%. This is unheard of in the flake industry. So we're very happy with that, and that is the main zone which we have done the pre-stripping now. There's this stockpile, 19,000 tons of high-grade graphite sitting ready for commissioning, and then we'll start mining probably in the next month or 2 months. We'll start with the real mine plan and get going on that. Growth opportunities, as I said, we're not resource bound. Resource expansion, it's open to the north-south down dip. Processing capacity, the plant has an inbuilt excess capacity into it. We can produce up to 50,000 tons without spending another cent on capex. With minimal spend after that, we can produce our output to 60,000 tons a year. But again, our strategy has always been, let's get into the market, let's get this mine running profitably, and then we can grow into the market if there's a demand. And there's certainly, if you look at John's figures, there will be a demand for more graphite. Also converting the resource, there's another 36,000 or 36 million tons sitting there that we can get into a higher category of confidence and into a mine plan. A low-grade stockpile, we'll have an 8 million ton low-grade stockpile sitting there. That's another 24 years of mining or of processing. And then downstream options. We deliberately haven't gone down that road too far. We've done a scoping study on an expandable plant. Economics are good, but let's get this mine. Let's focus on what we know, what we're doing, and that is to get a mine operational. Just some photos from recently, what's happening. This is the building going up around the concentrator, which is the milling and flotation section. And yeah, you can see another view of that. As you can see, a very small plant, a very small footprint. Only 5 stages of flotation with attritioning in between. And that was also part of our strategy. Let's keep this manageable. It is remote Africa, but as I said, we've now got power developed or delivered to the plant. We will have a full set of backup generators, which if there's any power cuts. So we will be ready to be going. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be in commissioning stage. Tailings storage facility, a totally lined dam. It's now complete. All the earthworks are complete, and the HDP liner and some of the drainage pipes are going in at the moment. And that's just another photo that was taken yesterday, so you can see all the work that's going on there, clay compaction and the HDP liner, which is now progressing quite fast and aiming for completion by the middle of October. But as I said, this is a team sport. There's a lot of people that have stood by us through all the hard times, especially our contractors, TNR, Jinpeng, who's here, Alistair. We've had tremendous support through Gilligan Group on the PR side, Safety and Trading, who's here, Above Ground Advisory, who's helped us and given us advice throughout the process, Access Group, who was also here at the conference, given us a lot of support in China, and throughout the difficult years, these guys have stood behind us. And Bowman's, who's also got representative here today, who helped us through the debt funding process. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Tanzania's next mine. Hopefully by the end of the year, we will have good news and start with the commissioning. Thank you very much.